to admit, when I first saw the title for today, Boldly Go, my Star Trek geek kicked in, and all I could think about was the tagline from Star Trek The Next Generation, to boldly go where no one has gone before. And isn't that what each one of us is called to do when we consciously choose to create our lives? To boldly go where we have never gone before. And it's exciting, going where we never gone before, and it's scary at the same time. It's exciting because we get to choose and we get to move towards who we want to be and what we want to do. And it's scary because we don't know how it's going to unfold. We cannot control everything. And then there's the possibility that we make the wrong choice. Of course, there are no wrong choices. They're really just little detours where we learn a few things, grow a little more. And I've taken several of those detours. I thought I knew what I wanted, and then I got there and found out, not so much. It wasn't me. And going through these little detours, I have proven to myself that the universe is impartial and it always says yes. And moves us in the direction that we want to go, even if it turns out we don't really want it. Because you can see that in all the synchronicities that show up once the universe starts working for us. They just show up at the right time in the right place. The good thing is, it's not a one-time deal. The universe is not only going to help you through one thing. If you come up with a new plan, the universe is going to be right there with you, helping you along the way. Because the universe, it's pure potentiality, infinite possibility, and it's just waiting there to be directed, ready to create what we desire. And it'll do that over and over because it always says yes. And then it gets to work. It's wonderful that we get to tap into this awesome power. But to use this power well, we really need to take the time to determine what we truly want, what lights us up. I know that in the past, I wasn't willing to sit still and explore what I really wanted. That seemed like an awful lot of work. So I just, I conformed to what society thought was important, or I tried what was fulfilling for someone else. I'd see how happy they were. I don't think I did it consciously. It was just an easy choice, based on what I saw out there. And I look at that and I go, why? I think it's because there's this desire to fit in and get approval. And while we're following society and doing what they say, it's a way to belong. I think that's what most of us as humans want. We want to belong. We want to find our tribe and fit in. But when we don't follow what we want, when we don't honor who we are, the tribe that we belong to really doesn't feed us. It's not fun. So if we want to find our true tribe, we have to honor who we are and take the time to explore what lights us up. Because when we do that, we also tap into our unique expression of the divine, who we are as God in this world. And that is our gift of spirit to us and to the world, when we are our own unique expression of the divine. But what if that gift is the very thing, we've been embarrassed about? What if it's the thing that we've been told we can't do? Or what if it's the thing that we've been told we have to change, that it's not acceptable. And there's a lot of that out there. There's so much control, everyone wanting to control us and tell us who we need to be. I saw a movie a few years back. It was about Dr. Temple Grandin. I saw it when it first came out because I was living in Colorado, and she is a professor at the Colorado State University. Her story is amazing. She's one of the top scientists in the Humane Livestock Handling Society in that industry. And she redesigned the slaughtering process. That was one of the hardest things to watch in that movie, how awful the cattle was treated as they went to be slaughtered. She made that such a humane process. And that came from her love of the animals and her determination. She is so well known in this industry. She's so prolific in her writing. She's authored 6 books, including 2 bestsellers. She's got over 60 papers on animal behavior. And she's autistic. Her disability, being autistic, is actually the gift, her unique expression that allowed her to understand animals, to make these changes. Her gift changed a whole industry. Her gift allowed her to be focused, and she is an advocate for people with autism. She's been able to take what she designed for the humane process of the cattle and translate that into this, what they call a human box or a squeeze box that helps people with autism relieve stress. There's something comforting about that closeness. Being squeezed in, it just reduces the stress. So she embraced her autism. I think that autism within her gave her that single-mindedness and the tenacity and the love of cows, of all things. And it all kept her going. It helped her become who she is in this world. She had to overcome a lot of obstacles. She was in an industry that wasn't open to women, and with her difference, her way of being, she had a lot of social pressures to overcome, but she still made that impact. Her disability was the gift that allowed her to make a difference in the world. So I'm going to think about, what gifts are we not embracing in our own lives that could potentially change the world? Again, there are things we might be embarrassed about, or we've always been told to change, or that we couldn't do, that might actually be our unique expression, our gift that can make a difference in the world. So it makes me think, maybe when we think of these things, it'd be a good idea to look a little deeper, kind of find out, how could this be a gift? Is it really something that limits me, or is it something that could allow me to be more? The next time we want to censor ourselves or stop doing or having what we want because we think it's not acceptable. When we have those times where we think it's not right, maybe we need to look a little deeper, because we know it's all God. So I know God is in there somewhere. There's a gift in there. And, we all know we have gifts, and like some we're expressing and some we're not. And to use these gifts to their full potential and fulfill our unique expression as the divine, we have to know what we want. We have to have a direction. So just had something fall down. It says, find my direction. But what is it that we're being called to express? What is it we're called to create? What do we truly want? What lights us up? Once we know that, we can ask or have the answer to, where do we boldly want to go? We've got to know what we want. Sometimes it's not that easy to know what we want. I wish I could just ask the question, what do I want? And have one answer, just one answer. But there's so many things that pop up. And as I go through life, there's more that get added. And then what I thought I wanted, it just drops out of the list. So it's not a one and done. So how can I get to the desire of my heart when it seems that my desires are always changing and that there are so many? So I know. And I also know I need help getting there, finding that part that just lights me up. I love this quote from Raymond Charles Barker, and it was in the email about today's service. So just lost it. Okay, he says, the full symphony of your real self can only be heard when all the windows of your mind are open to the fullness of life. Isn't this true? If you want to know who you are and what you want, what your purpose is, what your direction is in life, you've got to open up all the windows of your mind to the fullness of life, to God, to that wisdom within. Because our ego mind cannot do it alone. So one of the best ways to tap into this wisdom is to ask questions. Not those yes and no questions, but questions that open the mind to possibility, that tap into that God wisdom and that inner knowing. And I really liked the questions that Centers for Spiritual Living suggested for this week. They're there to help us find what we want. And so I want to take time today to ask these questions so that you can think about, just start thinking about what you want. You may not get the definitive answer, but it'll start the process. But if you're like me, you're going to want to write down the questions so you can revisit them later and, ask them to yourself again. But I found every time I do this, try to get those questions written down, I miss out on the opportunity to tap into my inner wisdom in the moment while we're surrounded by all of this energy, all of us focusing on the same possibility for our own lives. So what I want you to know, you don't need to worry about writing down the questions. We're going to post them so that you'll have them if you want to revisit it. What I want you to do today, right now, is just be open and fully present with these questions right now and just see what comes up. So I'm going to just tap in to that place of calm and connection with God before we get started, or as that preamble to get started, so that we can receive these answers from our heart and from our inner wisdom. So I just want you to sit back and relax, open your hearts, take a couple deep breaths, allow your body to relax. Just be in this moment. Allow your mind and heart to open to that calm space of love and connection. Because this is the space where God is. This is the space where the answers flow from. Just sit in this space with this presence. Just open your heart in your mind and just let your inner wisdom flow. And with each question, just let your answers emerge with grace and ease. So I ask, what do you do naturally that you love and always think about doing? What do you do naturally that you love and always think about doing? And next, where do you lose yourself in an experience? What causes you to lose all track of time? You're just in the experience. And think about, when are you the most at home in your own skin? And finally, what is the one thing that makes your heart sing more than anything else in the world? So now I want you to open your eyes. How do you feel? It feels pretty good, doesn't it? When I realized how good I felt after asking and answering these questions, I'm thinking this is a great way to help me feel better when I'm not in a good place, let alone finding out what I want. It's like a new tool, especially that last question. What's the one thing that makes my heart sing more than anything else? It's like a bonus for doing our inner work. We're looking at what we want and we just get uplifted. This is really powerful, and these are big questions. They help us know what we love, who we are, what we care about, what we're drawn to. It's this sacred self-awareness that allows us to touch the world with love. It opens our hearts. This sacred self-awareness allows us to confidently choose where we're going to boldly go. And where we boldly go, where we touch the world with love, is where we fulfill our unique expression of the divine. To do this, we've got to be authentic. We've got to be ourselves. And to be ourselves and to be ourselves out in the world, we've got to be vulnerable. To be who we want to be, we have to let go of our armor, all those walls and protective habits we've created over the years. Our vulnerability is our willingness to step out of our comfort zone and be unfamiliar, inexperienced, different, show up who we really are. So when we let go of our armor, we open space for creativity and new ways of responding to life. And it sounds wonderful. I love it. And still my heart goes, oh my God, I don't know if I can be vulnerable. I know it takes courage to be vulnerable, and I'm so glad I don't have to do it alone. God's always there. Eric Butterworth wrote, in the divinity of man, there is a changeless relationship with the principle in which every problem has an answer. That principle within has nothing whatever to do but to work for your highest good. God, spirit, universal source, principle, whatever you name it, it is always there to uplift and support. Principle's always working for our highest good. I like to think God's got my back. when we can always call on the power of God to strengthen us and to strengthen our courage, we can feel vulnerable. We can have more confidence. Even when sometimes vulnerability is going to place us in that place of yikes. Unfortunately, probably more than we want it to. I've had that happen. But this is when we can remember that God's got this. God's always here. I have to tell you, when I'm in that place of yikes, going, holy no, I'm so thankful for the comfort of just stating, okay, Laura, just chill. God's got this. And then I feel this calm. It just comes right over me. And pretty soon I can either just let it go or I get inspired and I know what to do. I know what to do next. And I don't have that fear. I get bolstered. I have that sense of courage so I can be vulnerable. So I know I can trust God. And I want to be vulnerable because that's when we can be authentic and live our spiritual truth. We've let go of all those things that we built to protect ourselves. And when we're in that place of being authentic and living our spiritual truth, we create a bold life in alignment with our deepest desires. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's definitely worth it. Like I said, we don't have to do it alone. God is always right here with us. And I found that when I'm authentic, other people are with me too. They trust me and they're there to support me. It's amazing that what's so scary can be so powerful. I just want to finish with a quote. I was so tickled to see this in the Science of Mind magazine, and it comes from the Science of Mind text. And it's accepting the lessons and experiences of the past and taking the best from everything. We should press boldly forward, looking ever for the truth and ever ascending higher and higher into the heavens of reality. I just love seeing that Ernest Holmes talks about moving boldly forward, going boldly forward. So I go, okay, we are on the right track. So it's time to embrace what you love and share it with the world. Drop your armor and be vulnerable. Let your authentic self out to play. Show up every day as the creative expression you already are. Be bold. Follow your dreams. Know that you're always supported. I mean, boldly go where you have never gone before. It's an adventure. It might be scary, but it's worth it. And I really think you'll love it. Thank you. So be bold.